Welcome to MineWarp, where we explore the innovation and technologies that are reshaping the mining world around us. Today, we're talking about one of the industry's most important transformation journeys, and that's the move from manually operated mines to automated mining systems. Joining me is David Hallett. He is Vice President of Automation at Sandvik Mining. David has been at the forefront of mining automation for more than a decade, helping to drive that evolution from tele-remote machines to connected intelligent mining operations, I guess. We'll discuss where the industry stands today and what comes next, and why Sandvik believes that the future requires maybe a rethink and an entirely new automation platform. So we'll talk about that. David, great to have you with us on the MineWarp podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, sure. So, as usual, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself to me and to the audience a little bit more. So, tell us a little bit about your background and your path into mining.
Yeah, David Hallett, as you said, and leading the automation team here at Sandvik Mining. Been with the company now 16 years and got my start mechanical engineer by education from Georgia Tech. I'm originally from the U.S. and stepped into the world of Sandvik back in 2010. Got my start in the industry, working at Sandvik as a summer intern during college, and also worked in the tunneling industry with the company called Heron Connect that was manufacturing tunnel boring machines. So got a lot of good hands-on experience with that, and then moved into Sandvik. And I've been through a number of different roles in the company, and got my start as a service technician, working on a tunneling project in New York City. Pretty exciting way to start the career outside of college, and worked in mechanical cutting, and then moved more into the services part of it. And then eventually my journey led me into automation, and was looking after that business in the US for a period of time. And then 8 years ago, moved here to Finland, and stepped into a few roles looking after our product line, and now been in this particular role for the past 5 years. So it's been a long and interesting journey up to this point, but quite an exciting one, to say the least.
Yeah, and I remember when I first started working with a big OEM, it was quite different from the previous journey that I had. So I want to ask you that question. How is working for Sandvik, working for an OEM, different from maybe working in the industry as opposed to for the industry?
I mean, you of course are very well connected with the customers. I think that's the best recipe for success is if you're connected closely to your customers. So finger on the pulse with regards to what's going on in the industry. But I think one of the big differentiators is how close you get to work with the technology as well. And that's really what's attracted me into the part of the business that I'm sitting in today, and really get you get to work with a lot of interesting things, emerging technologies as well. And the pace at which mining's moving nowadays, in terms of adoption of various types of technologies, particularly in surface and underground mining, in the production environments, it's a very interesting space and rapidly evolving. So it's been a fun ride now so far, and I think from the OEM perspective, it's definitely the place for me at least, and really enjoy getting to see the different parts of the world as well, and how operators work in different regions of the world.
So you talked about surface and underground there now, and when you talked about your background, you were also talking about tunneling and so on. So there's such a wide scope of potential applications of, let's call it breaking rock automation. And, if you look at the surface world and the underground mining world, which one would you say is the furthest ahead, or are they kind of, good competition for each other, and where did it start and so on? Just maybe your overview of the state of surface and underground mining automation.
Yeah, I mean, you see a lot of, communications is probably the biggest bottleneck for underground mining evolving at the speed it is. You have nice access to things like GPS on surface environments, which makes the connectivity quite a bit simpler, for lack of better words, and underground mining's catching up rapidly, though. There's a evolution now in the communications technology that's making this much more accessible for underground mines, and also the price points getting to a level now that you see the adoption rate starting to kick up. So I think, when we talk in the context of where we're at in 2026, underground mining's definitely catching up, if not at the same level that we see in surface mining. Where they've been working on autonomous haulage fleets, autonomous drilling applications now for many years. And of course, to mention the, processing and fixed plant, which has huge levels of industrial automation built into the processing as well. So it's interesting to see how things are evolving. But yeah, we spend a lot of time in the production side of the business, working together with, our automated drills, surface applications, and then also on the loading and hauling and underground drilling space for our underground operations.
Yeah, of course, the business problems are also not the same, right? It's not as if you can say, well, I've automated, for example, drilling for surface, and therefore I can do it underground if only the communication is the same. And just in the sense that you've got so many different kinds of players on the field, in each one of those operations. So I find that fascinating. And that brings me to, maybe the most fundamental question, and that is, what comes to mind when you do talk about automation? My car is automated in some sense, in the sense that if I press, cruise control, then it does that automatically, and so, you've got everything from operator assist, to just help people do whatever they do manually in a more, accurate way, maybe, or doing specific activities alone, to automating the whole machine and then fleets of machines and so on. But maybe you can talk us through that. I call it the automation maturity ladder. Where does it start at the simplest, and maybe where can it go to?
Well, I think maybe if we take one step back, talking about the values that actually drive automation, we usually talk about three core areas. We talk about, safety improvement, productivity improvement, and also cost improvement. Those are the main three, kind of value drivers that we usually encounter with customers when talking about why you want to automate. And then going into the different levels of automation that we see in the industry, of course, there's various types of automation that can be, built into just the base machines to help improve the efficiency of the operations, and then all the way up to fully autonomous fleets, which are, making the decisions on their own in real time, and driving the overall production of the mine fully autonomously. So, I mean, when we look at the base equipment nowadays, I mean, there's a lot of automation already built into the base machines. If you look at surface drilling, for example, there's a high level of autonomy built into the drilling itself. So autonomous drilling that we have for single and multi-pass applications, and then also having assistive features on board, like high precision GPS for positioning. So there's a lot of built-in automation that's already utilized on board. And also when we talk about that then in, underground context, we have assistive features for loading and hauling equipment, cameras on board the equipment so that you have better visibility around the machine. And then also for drilling as well, there's been in the industry now for many years an underground drilling space, both in production and development applications, guided drilling systems, and Sandvik, of course, has been utilizing those now in, both mining and tunneling applications for many, many years.
Yeah, that's, there are so many different applications. And then if you think of the reality on any given mine, it's just so true that you don't have the luxury of saying, well, we're going to, or most mines don't have the luxury, or the will maybe, to say we're going to go wall to wall Sandvik, or we're going to go wall to wall Caterpillar, or whatever. So you're continuously faced with this kind of mixed OEM discussion and mixed fleet discussion, or mixed kinds of equipment discussion and so on. So given that context and what you just described, what would you say is proving? Let's maybe focus on underground for the moment, and we can come back to surface later. Which is proving to be the most difficult nut to crack for the industry.
Well, I mean, OEM-agnostic is something that's been around for a while, and Sandvik has been a part of that journey now from about 2016, where we really started on kind of the OEM-agnostic path with regards to data. We just recently acquired a company in 2024 called Universal Field Robots out of Brisbane. Really, what they're bringing to the table now for the Sandvik offering is giving us the ability to, provide teleremote and autonomous capabilities on non-Sandvik equipment. To support our customers that already have an AutoMine system installed on their site. And what we really focus on, and of course the industry is really now moving towards that direction, and having that flexibility is a key essential piece that any offering should have, and certainly a part of the reason that we've brought on a company like Universal Field Robots to give us that enhanced ability to be able to provide that to our customers. We've still continue to focus really on providing the highest levels of productivity around the Sandvik equipment, and that's quite natural. We have very good connections together with the engineering teams in each of our, equipment manufacturing facilities, and we're able to then, provide our customers with the highest level of productivity with the Sandvik equipment together with our AutoMine solutions. But that being said, the world isn't as clean as that anymore, and we understand that customers are going to have mixed fleets, and we've added that capability now to be able to deliver that as an extension to our AutoMine platform, making it genuinely OEM agnostic. And this is a big step now that we've taken in our organization to be able to provide that capability for our customers now.
Yeah, the OEM agnostic thing is really something that I think, even if you look at the work that the global mining group is taking, GMG is taking, and so on. It's something that not only I think one cannot get away from, but B, the industry as a whole needs. So it's I love the fact that you're contributing to that as well from a company perspective. And maybe that does lead us into talking about AutoMine itself. And you've recently launched a new version of AutoMine, right? Or if I can quote you, you said we've not built a new or a next new version, we've built an entirely new platform. So that's a bold statement, and for some people that'll be scary. Tell us a little bit about that. What's so completely new about the platform, and why was a really new thing required?
Well, one, it's nothing to be afraid of. Actually, to be quite excited about. I mean, look, AutoMine got its start in 2004 when we installed the first version of it at the Finch mine in South Africa. And we also worked together at Pipa Norte with Codelco at the El Teniente mine, and implementing two solutions during that time frame. And we've had really good success with the AutoMine solutions now over the years. Have an installed base that's continuing to grow, and very good presence across all the different continents in the world. But 20 years in, 20 years base technology, it was time for an update, and that's really where we took the step then to start working on our AutoMine Aura platform, and developing the AutoMine platform itself into the 21st century. And there's a lot of great things now going on that we were able to leverage, and from the automotive industry, for example, and bring in different types of technology into the new platform, including including more onboard computing capacity, which open up a lot of opportunities for new features that we can then provide to our customers, and also be able to provide more intelligent features, and using AI, for example, to be able to detect a muck pile in a more accurate way, and teach the machine then how to engage the muck pile for autonomous loading. So there's a lot of value add now in what we've done with this. The other main driver around this is that we had a lot of experience over the 20 years with our AutoMine platform, and there were also some known topics that we needed to address with that legacy platform to make it simpler to use, easier to deploy,
Mm,
and also easier to service. And those things have been considered now in the design work that we've done and reached to now with AutoMine Aura. And all
mm,
of this started really in 2019. You may have
mm,
seen that we released something called our AutoMine concept vehicle, which was a
mhm,
cabinless, fully battery electric, fully autonomous loader that we've had on display now in our test mine and a number of places around the world over the past few years. And that
mm,
served as a bit of the vehicle and the vision of what has now
mm,
become AutoMine Aura, and will be
mm,
rolled out on our today's production equipment that we have rolling off of our product line or our manufacturing line, with our loading and hauling team. So it's been a long journey to get to this point.
mm,
And I'll take the opportunity to give a huge thanks to our team who's been working on this now for, better part of 5 years, and also to our partners, customers that have, worked together with us in the testing as well. It's been a really excellent experience and a lot of
mm,
learnings, and we're very excited to have this product now released to the market.
mm. So it's fully released around the world, everywhere, available?
Yes, we released it now, and we've started with one machine, our 17-ton LH517i loader, and
Uh-huh.
we'll start rolling it out on our I series equipment, and offering in the coming years. So, yeah, it's the start of a journey, and definitely will enhance our abilities to provide our customers a higher level of autonomy and safer
Right.
operations
Mm.
globally.
I'm curious. I I've got a kind of bird's eye view, I think, of the Sandvik portfolio. Let's call it digital automation
Mm,
portfolio. Um, and I see Optimine and AutoMine next to each other. And one of the first things that come to mind when I see that is, can I task someone? Can I do the planning and then task to work in Optimine and see how it's executed in AutoMine, or how integrated are those two suites and the handover between them?
yeah. Well, we have a group within Sandvik Mining called Digital Mining Technologies, which
Uh-huh.
I'm a part of the management team for that, and work closely together with our counterparts at Deswik.
Right.
Deswik is an acquisition that Sandvik took nearly 4 years ago, and
Mm,
and what we've done now with the Deswik suite of products. Of course, Deswik has a wide suite of products for mine
mm.
planning, mine optimization. But what we've done is really focused on the operational products, and
Okay.
how we can
Yep.
integrate those together with our automation solutions. So, for
Mm,
example, Deswik Ops is a tool
mm.
that's utilized for the short range planning. We've done steps now to integrate that together with our AutoMine platform to be able to provide task allocation into the AutoMine
Oh,
system. So, example, operator will get a task then allocated to them from
yeah.
Deswik Ops, and then the actuals will then be transferred, automatically then back to Deswik Ops
Mm,
during the shift as the operator is then executing on those tasks, and then can be put back into the planning system and so on. So we've taken steps with our digital suite of products to be able to
yeah.
integrate those as well.
Mm-hmm.
Another example of that is Deswik's product called Orb, which is
Mm-hmm.
primarily used for block cave operations, but also in sub-level caving applications as well, for optimizing the draw order, or the extraction and material flow inside the cave. And
Right.
this is another product that we've also integrated into our AutoMine offering as well, to be able to have more seamless kind of, let's say, transition between the suite of products that Sandvik has. And this has been
Yeah.
a big
Yeah.
value add for a lot of customers, and adding additional productivity on top of what the automation can provide as well.
That is really incredibly exciting. So I look forward to seeing more about that. But let's just get back maybe to your Aura, your AutoMine Aura rollout. Um, you've done some work with Glencore at their George Fisher operations, and
Yep.
what were some of the gains that you were able to make there, and maybe what lessons have you learned there that others can also learn from?
Yeah, look, we worked together with the Glencore team at George Fisher Mine for the better part of 6 months.
Uh-huh.
Putting the system through its paces, and they were an excellent partner to work with. We have a long history together with them, and they have
Hmm.
a very good experience with our AutoMine product already.
Hmm.
But we were able to work hand in hand together with the customer, and over that 6 month period, getting a significant amount of feedback and improving the product and iterating it and making it better and better every day.
Mm.
And what we were able to see as a part of that is, when we benchmarked the old AutoMine system versus the AutoMine Aura system, is
Hmm.
over a 15% increase in the productivity versus the old
Wow.
system.
So let me just get
And
that right. So that's not
yeah,
non-automated versus AutoMine Aura. That's old AutoMine versus new AutoMine, if I can put it
yes,
like that.
exactly. Yeah.
That's significant. Wow.
Yeah, and it was a combination of a number of things, but we put the two systems into the same environments and we're able to benchmark both. So
Mm.
we have like for like apples to apples type of
Mm.
comparison.
Mm.
But we really saw that the improvement, going from a 2D sensing environment to a 3D sensing environment provided us with much more accurate navigation and also gave us
Okay.
the ability to achieve much higher speeds and more reliability than the previous system.
Yeah.
And also, we've seen now significant improvements around the setup times of the
Hmm.
system itself as well. We've made a
Mm.
lot of improvements in terms of how we do our mapping and installation ahead of time so that you don't have to tie up a production machine and utilize that. We've developed what we call our mapping kit, which is something
Okay.
that can then be utilized on a light vehicle ahead of the production starting
Mm.
on a level and
Mm.
giving the mine the ability to go and scan that area, set their routes up, and then put the machine into production immediately. So it
Mm.
significantly speeds up the implementation that's required then for the system as well. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of improvements there, and one of the great things about George Fisher is that we also get the ability to really stretch the system.
Hmm.
It's a pretty let's say opportune mine where we have the ability to get up to fourth gear with the machine,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
really see the test the speeds of the equipment as well. So we've been able to really see those productivity gains also through that
Mm.
with the
Mm.
AutoMine Aura system. So yeah, it's been a good experience and definitely a high level of confidence now with the system after all of the the trials that we've now done
Mm.
and rolling
Mm.
it out now for commercial sales.
So at that mine, did you do both development and stoping tests, or was it the one or the other, or how did that work?
Mainly in the production environments. So the stoping
Okay.
environments is where we
Yeah.
were putting the machine through the paces. That's where we really can see that's where the productivity
Mm.
demand is really coming from in that mine.
Mm.
So that's what we focused our efforts on.
Because that does seem to me also like the most difficult part to get games, right? Because the
Mm.
highly repetitive straight line areas where it's kind of easy to get the speeds and automation almost is a no-brainer. It's easy to claim benefit there, but in production areas, it's a different story. So that makes it even
Yes.
more, difficult to get to squeeze the the margins out of that as you've done.
Yeah, it's a lot of fine tuning at the end of the day on each cycle, and those small gains every run, but they add up very quickly as well, and that's where we saw the benefit.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Now you can about automation without also talking about the benefits, with regards to safety.
Mm.
Of course, there's a lot to be said just removing, people out of dangerous areas. But maybe you
Yeah.
can talk a little bit about the safety gains or the impact on safety that you've been able to observe.
Yeah, I mean, we've been running AutoMine, like I said, since 2004, and knock on wood, 9 million hours plus of
Wow.
LTI-free operation, and I mean that's something that we're very proud of within
Mm.
Sandvik,
Mm.
and certainly something that we want to ensure that every miner is walking home safe every day, and
Mm.
this type of technology really contributes to that, and
Mm.
automation and is operating in an isolated environment. We still stick to the principle of having autonomous machines in an isolated area. But obviously the flexibility within mining is quite high, needs to be quite high, especially in stoping operations to, accommodate, let's say there's always something changing from the daily schedule. And we need to have that flexibility to be able to, allow, for example, manually operated equipment into the areas as well. So this is definitely one of the areas that we've been able to, see potential gains then also from our AutoMine Aura platform, being able to provide higher levels of flexibility also. We still operate in isolated environments, but the shift towards mixed manual autonomy is coming quite soon, and there will be higher levels of flexibility that we can then introduce into our offering, then to start to introduce certain use cases in a functionally safe manner, to give more flexibility to mining operations when it comes to moving manually operated equipment into autonomous zones.
If you look at the different, maybe people are used to thinking of commercial cars, and some use video and some use LiDAR and some use radar and some a combination of the three and so on. If you look at that, so much of that is developed out of firstly a safety point of view, but then it's almost like the safety tech becomes the eyes of the of the autonomy machine, if I can call it that. Do you find those two are, or is this true that you find that it becomes that perception layer of the autonomous mine?
Yeah, it's slowly getting that direction. We start to see a lot of the manufacturers going towards safety rated or striving towards safety rated solutions within their offering. It's still a roadmap item in a lot of portfolios, but definitely the tech is getting much smarter and more advanced, and working towards that safety rated level. Mining's quite a harsh environment to operate in, especially when we talk about drilling on surface and also operations in underground mines. So we have a different use case in some circumstances, but definitely it's a positive direction to see now with those, and that will enhance again the ability to be able to build more of that, let's say, peer-to-peer type of ability on board the machine, so that you can have a higher level of perception than around the equipment in a safer manner. So it's moving in the right direction for sure, and something that we as an industry will benefit from, no doubt.
Yeah. I just think of simple things like, if you have a continuous scan of a tunnel that you're driving through, over time you can see there's compression taking place, so we should be doing something about the stability of the, of the working environment, and so on and so on. So there's so much opportunity for cross-pollination. That's not only about the machine and its operation, but stabilizing everything and making the whole operation friendlier and more safely, which of course is also a risk mitigation factor when it comes to catastrophic things that may destroy the whole operation.
100%. Yeah.
Over and above LTIs only. Maybe that does lead to the question of autonomous mining as such. So if you look forward to, let's say, 10 years from now, how do you see that? What does a successful autonomous mining operation actually look like?
I think we're starting to see major changes in the mining industry. I mean, if you talk to any mining company around the world, there's big concerns around the skills gap that we start to see materializing in the industry. And I think automation's a good opportunity for us to be able to help address that. So the adoption rate is certainly increasing. We see it continuing to increase. And, the skills gap is one of the major contributors to that. We also see a big trend now, and, all the easy to access deposits are spoken for. And, going deeper and deeper opens up more and more risk. And, autonomous operations then enable access to those types of deposits as well. So there's a big opportunity to be able to utilize this and, those harder to access deposits as well, which, given all the things going on in the, and we talk about it in a macroeconomic sense, and the, you know, total, you know, the increase in the level of electrification, for example, and the consumption of copper and so on. We're going to need these minerals, and it's going to be quite important that we're able to access these deposits as well. And I think automation is going to contribute, you know, quite heavily to that. We will see a growth in this still. I'm quite confident in that as we move, you know, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and so on.
Yeah, yeah. The you were just talking about the future and the, you know, the skills gaps, maybe even that points towards a change in the type of people we serve. I'd like to say so. In service of that, and the fact that more people look at 30 seconds mining clips, or video clips, I should say, I'd like to offer you a pop quiz if you're ready. So maybe very quickly, what would you think is the most overhyped technology when it comes to automation?
Quantum computing.
Yeah.
At least for now.
At least for now. Yeah. We're going to have to unpack that at another time. Okay. Most underestimated technology.
I think AI is probably underestimated at this point. It's quite hyped, but also I think the opportunity that's there with AI is quite significant.
Yeah, and also I guess there's so much to be said about what AI actually is. You know, machine learning is old but new, and
Yes.
and so on. So yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so will mixed OEM automation become normal, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. It already is. If it isn't classified that way, I think it's a thing now, and will be a thing for the future.
Okay, so latching on to that previous one about AI, do you think it'll fundamentally change the way that automation works?
I think it'll enhance it for sure. There's a lot of opportunity to be able to increase the types of functionality that you have on board through use of AI, and we have a lot of different applications, not only from the product point of view, but also when we talk about, you know, servicing in a more intelligent way, helping our technicians to be more efficient in the way that we deliver services to our customers. So there's a lot of tools as well that will come, you know, as a result of this, that will enhance the level in which we can support our customers in a more intelligent fashion with those types of, you know, AI, LLMs, and things like that. So there's a lot of use cases that we're exploring, of course, and things that will make their way into the products and also into our, you know, our way of supporting our customers as well here in the future, which is quite exciting.
I'd love to have a look behind the scenes at the various use cases that are being held closely by all of the OEMs around the world. I think it must be a garden of ideas. But anyways, David, you've been really, really great. Thank you for your time. I always close the discussion with a few personal questions again. So back to you as David the man. What are you passionate about outside of mining?
Well, my family, first off, that's the biggest passion in the life. I'm also an avid rock climber, so
Oh, really?
like to get out on the rocks and enjoy myself, bouldering in the mountains as well. So like to be outside. That's a big passion of mine as well.
So breaking rock is a good thing professionally, then broken rock is a bad thing recreationally.
Yeah, happens though. So.
Yeah. And then lastly, what leadership lessons has stayed with you throughout your career that maybe you can share with other people coming up, maybe in this cross-mechanical, digital, automated world?
I think for any new professional coming into the industry or getting out of college nowadays, I mean, just be open to new opportunities. I think there's no one direct path to success. I think it's about having an open mind and really being open to new opportunities, and that's really been kind of the key for my journey. I wouldn't call it a
Mm-hmm.
success necessarily, but my journey so far, and I've really enjoyed it.
Mm.
And you know, sometimes taking a step into the deep end and moving to a foreign country, and
Mm.
you know, not really knowing what you're getting into is the best move you could ever make in your life. And you know, I think for young professionals now coming into the industry, it's definitely a good piece of advice to not necessarily try to have a plan and execute on it, because plans change. And you know, I think
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
more about being open to the opportunities that come your way. So
yeah. Thanks for sharing. David, thank you very much for being on the MineWarp podcast, and all the best with the launch of AutoMine Aura
thank
and
you.
the rest of the automation use cases that you guys are working on at Sandvik.
Thanks, MP. Appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for having us on.
Yeah, my pleasure.